Hello, hello. ¿Cómo está Isabel?
Hello, teacher. Buenas noches. Bueno, no sé si iniciamos. Eh,
Sí, dame solo un momento para revisar aquí algo y nos vamos, pero no ha llegado ninguna de ellas.
no, no ha llegado ninguna de las estudiantes.
Ok.
Ok, yo la espero, teacher.
Sí, sí, ya casi. Dame solo un segundo para ver esto aquí y esto acá. Eh, ok. En estos momentos no puedo prender la cámara, pero eh, voy a dar la clase igual. Así que por favor, es que tengo, no sé, como que a mi hija le tocó algo y se ha movido y entonces a veces aprende, a veces no. Por favor y gracias, empiezan la clase.
Ok, teacher. Ok, buenas tardes a todos. Sean bienvenidos a una sesión más de traducción de documentos dirigido por la profesora Vivian Vargas. Para el buen desarrollo de esta sesión les pedimos seguir las siguientes recomendaciones. Algunos de los parámetros de las sesiones por videoconferencia. Las sesiones se graban. Pueden verlas nuevamente en la plataforma virtual. Les solicitamos que por favor silencien sus micrófonos y puedan activarlos cuando quieran hacer consultas o aportes con el permiso del docente. Les pedimos que mantengan su cámara activa. De no poder hacerlo, enviar su excusa por el chat de Zoom. De lo contrario, será retirada la sesión y les serán restados puntos de valoración del docente. Mi rol como moderador es facilitar y apoyar en la parte técnica. Consultas por el chat personal o general. Les exhorto a tener bolígrafo y papel para hacer sus anotaciones y aprovechar al máximo esta sesión. Esta sesión tiene un tiempo de duración de 120 minutos. Teacher, le doy el pase. Buenas tardes.
Thank you. Good afternoon or good evening. Thank you. Hello, everyone. First of all, I want to apologize because I cannot turn the camera on today. I always turn it on, but it's having some trouble the computer, and I cannot turn the camera. And I apologize for that. Okay, but I'm right here, and I'm gonna be right here with you until we finish the class. Second of all, just to remind you, this is class number 8. Um, Class number 8. We are just almost there. You have class number 9 on the 18th, and then class number 10 that it would be on the 25th. I guess they will move it to a new day that week, so we can finish there. Now, I wanted to show you something before we started checking the information over here. When I am in the system, um, you can see now. And I go and I check homework. I don't know about today, but yesterday I was checking, and then I can see here that I have 0 of 6, 0 of 6, 0 of 6, 0 of 6. None of you has done not even one of the assignments, okay? And then when I go to the test, when I go to the tests, I go there and I check. And then, for example, for module number 1, I go and nobody has taken the test yet. So I'm kind of worried with that. When I go to the forum, I only have one answer in the forum um, day. I think it's the answer that I have. However, I don't have any more over here to check. The idea is not that we do everything the last day because it's going to be overwhelming for us. And that's not like the specific idea of this, okay? So I advise you to pick, please, take this into consideration and check this, okay? Now, let me go ahead and share for you what we will be doing today. This is class number 8 in module number 4, okay? Let me go ahead and share this for us. We have here, and then we are going to check class number 8, instructor Vivian Vargas, and this is almost 3 more this class and 2 more classes, and we finish. And the idea of this is that you learn something about it. You are not going to be ready to be translators, but you will be able to understand and to learn more vocabulary and everything if you pay attention to it, okay? So let's go ahead and let's continue. First of all, and before going to everything, let's recap a little bit about our last class. What is medical translation, guys? What do you remember? What medical translation is? What? Okay, it says here that medical translation, it says no, we learned last week that medical translation is when you translate from one language to the other, all kind of medical documents that are related to pharmacy or to drugs or to the patients or to the new prescriptions or treatments or new research is being done on the topic for any illness or something like that, okay? Now, why is quality so important in medical translation? Why? Why do you think it's so important? Yes, I know you know the answer, guys. It is very important because this is within, you know, it's between life and death. You know, we are playing, okay, with people's lives over here. And if we make a mistake, we can have a person dead or many people dead just because we didn't do it with the accuracy and the quality it was supposed to have. Now, what are some types of documents you need to have to be a medical translator? You need to have a very good dictionary medical terminology. You need to have knowledge about medical procedures and things like that in order to be able to be a good medical translator. Let me please drink some water, please. Thank you. And the last question we have here is, what are some recommendations you need to take into consideration when taking a medical document to translate? What do you remember about that? We talked last class about it. What are some things that we need to take into consideration? For example, the time. We need to be conscious with the time. We cannot say, yes, I have it for next week. And we are talking about 400 pages of documents that you haven't seen before, where you have to read, reread, and check and look for something that means the same. And you say, in 1 week I do that. No, you wouldn't sleep if you do that like that, everything in a moment. So like taking that into consideration, like making sure that you are capable enough to take such responsibility. If for some reason we don't think we do have what it takes, the terminology knowledge, the procedures, the time, everything, the resources to look for, then we should decline a medical translation. Because again, it's people's life we are talking about. Now, before going here, let's go back and let's take a look at something that we always check. And we are talking here about class instructions. Now, class instructions, guys. And I know I say that every week, but we have to work on this all the time. Get comfortable, not so comfortable you fall asleep. No distractions, no cell phone, no TV, no nothing that can move you and distract you from your main purpose, okay? Read and understand the objectives in a way that you can, or you are able to, when you read and understand the objectives, you are able to, at the end of the class, you're able to say like, oh, I was going to learn this, and this is what I learned. So the teacher did the job. She taught me how to do this or how to do that, oh, she didn't teach me. And then you can evaluate me from there. And then we have do not skip tasks. This is why it's so important for me that you check this over here because I need you to have this into consideration, okay? It is important that you, as you check the unit, if you couldn't be in the class, you go and you watch the class in the video, and then you do the reading, and then you do the photo, and then you do the homework, and then you do the task. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. People outside the Diablo Rojos, can you listen to that? Sorry for that. Then you have all those things, and then it's important that you do not skip tasks. So please work on your task as soon as possible. Now, class objectives. The first one for the last class was identify the importance of medical translation, which we did. We talked about it a lot last class. And now for this class, we have recognized the most common terms used in medical translation. That's what we are going to be working now, okay? And then we will continue. Now, medical terminology. It says, after watching the following video, it says, what would be the prefix, root, or suffix in the following medical terms? Gynecology, necrosis, neonate, cardiology, meningitis, okay? So I want you to tell me, as we check the video and then we go for it, I want you to tell me what's the root, the prefix, the suffix, and the meaning of each of them, okay? So let's go ahead and let's take a look at the video so we can have, so we can have the idea about this. Okay, let me go ahead. Maybe we don't take a look at the whole video, but I need you to, take a look at this the more that you can. Let me see if this can open here. Yes, it can. I'm sharing sound, so we should have no trouble. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at it.
Hello everyone and welcome. In this lesson we are going to talk about the components of medical terms. Let's get started. Medical terms generally derive from the early Greek and Latin languages. Because in ancient times both the Romans and the Greeks advanced the study and practice of medicine. They named anatomical structures, diseases, and treatments in their own languages. These Latin and Greek words remain a part of medical language today. It is also efficient, although some of the terms are long, they often reduce an entire phrase to a single word. The one-word gastroduodenostomy, for example, stands for a communication between the stomach and the first part of the small intestine. This word might seem complex, but by splitting it into its components, it will be more familiar. And this is what we are going to learn in this lesson. Medical terms are made up of three word elements: prefixes, roots, and suffixes. But not all terms have all.
Ok, justo como en español, que cuando veíamos en español que una palabra tiene un prefijo, el prefix, de este, una raíz, the root, y un sufijo, exactly the same, okay? Now, not all terms have the same parts, but some of them, they have the parts that help you identify what we are talking about. And what is said, most of them, they come from Latin or Greek.
Three parts. Let's talk about each component in details and begin with roots. Roots are the element that provide the core meaning of the word. And they usually identify a body part or an action. You can expand a root and change its meaning by adding a prefix before the word or a suffix after the word. Roots appear anywhere in the term. Medical terms have one or more roots, or even not at all. As in the term neoplasm, where neo is a prefix meaning new, and plasm is a suffix meaning growth, and the term means new growth. More than one root can have the same meaning. As the root pneumon, taken from the Greek word meaning lung or air. Also, the root pulmon, taken from the Latin word means lung or air. Because roots are often joined to other elements in a medical term, we add a combining vowel to create a combining form. Such as the letter O to the end of the root, like pneum, to form pneumo. Any vowel like A, E, I, O, or U can be used as a combining vowel. Like the root resper means to breathe. Adding the combining vowel A makes the combining form respira. So, we use combining forms to attach a root to another one or to another combining form and before a suffix. An example of a term with more than one root, the word hemopneumothorax, it has the root hem from the Greek word meaning blood and the root pneum from the Greek word meaning air or lung and the suffix thorax from the Greek word meaning chest. The combining vowel O is added to these two roots to make the combining forms hemo and pneumo. And a combining vowel is used to join the root pneum to the suffix thorax. And hemopneumothorax is the presence of air and blood in the space that surrounds the lungs in the chest. As blood and air fill the pleural cavity, the lungs cannot expand and respiration is not possible, thus forcing the affected lung to
Hemo, sangre, pneumo, pulmones, tórax, en el pecho. So what happens? Los pulmones y el pecho se llenan de sangre.
collapse. Next, we are going to talk about suffixes. A suffix is added to the end of a medical root or a combining form to modify its meaning and to change its part of speech. And most medical words contain a suffix. Medical suffixes can be organized by their purpose or function, such as diagnostic, surgical, pathologic, and descriptive or adjectival. You don't have to memorize all of these suffixes now. The suffixes will reappear during your study, but we will give you some examples of some suffix classes. For the diagnostic suffixes, when added to a root or combining form, produces a medical term that is a diagnosis or a procedure or test to identify the nature of an illness. For example, the combining form cardio plus the suffix graph, which means an instrument used to record heart activity. And for the surgical suffixes, when added to a root or combining form, they produce medical terms that describe the invasive surgical procedure performed.
Okay, so synthesis, desis, ectomy, plasty, raphy, stomy, Tommy. Each of them have a meaning, okay? And then you put a root, for example, or a prefix, and then you put like a vowel that you include there, and then you put them all together to make something new. So, for example, synthesis or synthesis is a surgical puncture and a joint paste with a needle. So you take synthesis, that is a short surgical puncture with arthrosynthesis. So in this case, arthro is for joints. So it's going to be a surgical puncture of a joint, okay? Now we have, for example, here plastic. It's a surgical repair. So you have a rhinoplasty. As a rhino is for nose. So it's a surgical repair of the nose. You see how it is formed? You have this suffix that it goes at the end of the word, and then you have the root, and then you use the word, and then in that case, you form. So if you know this, okay, you will be able to recognize them. Let's go ahead.
Formed on the body. As in the term appendectomy, the suffix ectomy means surgical removal. And the term means surgical removal of the appendix. And for the pathologic suffixes, when added to a root or combining form, this type of suffix produces a medical term that describes a symptom or sign of a disease process. For example,
we talk about algia. We say in Spanish, for example, tiene una fibromyalgia. That's a disease that is very common today. That is like everything hurts, but there is no like a reason for it to hurt. And then you say fibromyalgia. Algia means pain. But when you say fibromia, that fibromia, they go for fibro, for your fibers, for your muscles, for everything in you. So fibromyalgia. And then we have, for example, edema. Edema is when you have an accumulation of fluids in your tissues. It says lymphedema or lymphedema. And it says that lymph is like the lymphatic vessels, okay? And then it says that is when you have a swelling in the lymphatic vessels. And then we have, for example, Let me go and look for this one. This one, I love it. Itis. Itis means inflammation. So you have, for example, pancreatitis, you have appendicitis, you have, you see? And every time is, for example, you say cystitis is a pain in the, an inflammation in the cyst, okay? Which means that the urine bladder. When you say appendicitis, it's an inflammation of the appendix. When you say all of them, pancreatitis is an inflammation of the pancreas, okay? And that's the way we are going to learn.
Example, the term arthralgia. The suffix algia means pain. And the term means pain in a joint or joints. For the adjectival suffixes, there are 28 suffixes that mean pertaining to. These suffixes are used as adjectives to describe the root. An example of adjectival suffixes is the suffix -ac, as in the term cardiac, which means pertaining to the heart. Several suffixes do not fall under any of the earlier classifications, but maintain the root or combining form as a noun. These are noun suffixes, like the suffix -iatry, which means treatment or medical specialty, as in the term psychiatry, which means diagnosis and treatment of mental disorders. Next, we are going to talk about prefixes. A prefix is a word element attached to the beginning of a root and do not require combining vowels. However, not all medical terms have a prefix. Adding or changing a prefix changes the meaning of the word. Prefixes usually indicate a number, time, position, direction, or negation. And prefixes can be grouped according to their descriptive function. An example of prefixes of position is the prefix "epi", which means above, over, or upon, as in the term epidermis, which means the top layer of the skin. And an example of prefixes of number and measurement, the prefix "bi", which means two, twice, or double, as in the term bilateral, which means pertaining to or related to two sides of the body. An example of prefixes of direction and location, the prefix "ab", which means away from, as in the term abduction, which means action of moving away from the midline. There are another classes of prefixes, but like the other word parts that you have studied, they
Sorry, I thought I was talking and I was talking alone. So this is very long. I would like you to check it alone. Okay, so you can check it on your own, because here, unless you're here, it's very important, difficult for us to advance on it like one by one and do something about it. Okay, so it says prefix, root, or suffix in the following medical terms. Gynecology. Let's take a look at this. And then let's go to the internet and see how we can do this. Okay. Give me a second. What's the word? I was going to put something there. Give me just a second and Okay, give me a second. Let me go ahead. Let me go ahead to see if we can check this over here. Let me see. I'm going to share it with you now. Let me go ahead to see if we can check this. It says gynecology, in gynecology. It says, the word is made up of a combination of two parts. Gyne, which means woman or female, okay? And logy, which is a suffix, which means the story of a discourse or something. So this is the story of a female. It would be for the gynecology, okay? That's when we talk about the etymology of it. Let me see if we can find something else. We have here, it says, combining gyneco, meaning feeling, gynec, and then O, as we said before, being a medical term with one who studies the female, gynecologist. Okay, that is one example. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at another one that I gave you here, and it says necrosis. Okay, let's take a look at necrosis. Let me go ahead and let's check the same one where we were. Of the word necrosis. Have you heard the word necrosis? Okay, so it says that is from the Greek necrosis with K, okay, and it was necro and osis, okay, and then it would be necrosis means death. So in this case, it's just a word. You don't have, it seems that you don't have like a separation of here. It says necrosis, and it's from the Greek necros, okay? And it means lack of blood flow, the death of living cells or tissues, okay? Now, let's continue with the next one. Let's go for the next word that we have over here. I'm gonna show it to you. And we have neonate. Do you know what neonate is? Have you heard this word before? Let's take a look at this. And let's go for neonate. Let's go for neonate. Do you have any idea? My bed is neo, nuevo, o recién, nate, nacido. Let's go. Neonate. What is it? It says recently born infant, and it says point from neo, that means new, plus Latin natus, means born, past participle of facit, be born, in Latin, all Latin, okay? So it would be from pi root, and then it continue, but then we already know. Neo for new, and nate for born, okay? So it could be recién nacido in this case. Let me go and check the other one. We have cardiology. Cardiology, we saw it now that we were working on this. We had the opportunity to check for cardiology. Give me a moment. Let me go ahead and share this for you. And then let's go with cardiology. Okay, so it says cardia, that means heart, logi, or logia, that means study. Well, in English is logi. So study of the heart. So cardiology is study of the heart, because logia, in this case, it would mean study, okay? Let's go with the next one. That would be, let me help you here. We have meningitis. What is what we learn about itis? What is the meaning of itis, guys? You remember? We saw that a moment ago in the video, and I made a post on it. Let's go. Meningitis. What is itis? You remember? It said inflammation. Okay. So we have something called there's something called in our brain called meninges. Okay. So we have the mening from meninges, and then we have itis for inflammation. So es la inflamación de las meninges. That's what it means. It says the root word, it would be menings, that is membrane, and the medical suffix itis, that means inflammation. Okay. Now, we had the opportunity to check all of them. Let's continue with this. And let's see how much or how far we can get there. So what's the root, the prefix or suffix, and the meaning of each of them? So we have gynecology, where we have gynec, okay, for female, O, and then we have logy for study, study of the female. We have necrosis, that comes from necros, that means the death of the cells. We have neonate, where we have neonate, where we have neo and nate. Neo for new and nate for born. Cardiology, where we have cardio or cardi for heart, O just to join the word, and logy for study of the heart. Then we have meningitis, that is, it goes for mening, for the meninges, and then we have itis for the inflammation, which means inflammation of the membrane or inflammation of the meninges. This is what we learned in this one. Did you know this works already? Or this is the first time that you are checking for this? So let's continue. And then we are going to have this class activity. Using reading 2, follow the given instructions. We're going to go there now. Choose 10 different unknown medical words for you in the list. Look for the meaning and create one sentence with each of them. Then present it to the class, okay? So did you understand? We are going to go to the reading. You are going to take out 10 words that you don't know. There may be more, but you are going to take 10 that they get your attention. And then you have to look for the meaning and create one sentence with each of them. Which is what I'm going to proceed to do now for you, okay? Let me go ahead. Let me check. It's charging at this moment, so let it take a little bit. It's charging, okay? Right here. Now, this has how many words? 77 words, okay? Of course, 77 pages, 77 pages. So from these ones, we are going to choose 10, okay? I'm going to put in the chat the 10 words that I chose from there, okay? Let's go there. Okay, we have this according to the letter. We have an introduction, and then we have the words. Let's choose one with A. And then from there, I'm gonna open it so you can see it a little bit better. Okay. And then we have here, for example, let's go. Well, we do have them. Okay. And let's go with another one. Adrenal gland. Adrenal gland is gonna be the first one. Adrenal, it's only one. It's only one, sorry. Adrenal gland. That's gonna be number 1, okay? Then we are going to continue with the letter B. Let's look for the letter B. Wow. Okay, I have letter B. And it says, for example, bad breath. You know what bad breath means, right? Bad breath. It is horrible when you are talking to someone and that person has bad breath. Let's go with one with C. Carcinogen. Have you heard of it? Carcinogen. Let's go with the letter D. Go with here. We have the letter D. Let's go with this one. Deciduous. Deciduous. If you were here, you would choose yours, but since you're not, I'm gonna choose what I can. Then let's go with the E. Eh, let's take a look at this. Let's endocrinology. Sorry. Endocrinology. Let's go with that. How many we have? 5. Let's go with hypertension. Do you know what no? Hypertension. Hypothyroidism. Hypothyroidism. I have that. I will tell you stories later. So we have 3 and 3, 6. Let's take a look at this. Intramuscular. Is it too easy? I don't know. Intramuscular. Intramuscular. Okay, that's number 7. Morbidity. Okay, let's go. We have 8. Let's go here. Pimples. Have you heard pimples? Maybe you know them. I mean, you can look for other words when you are doing this, when you will be able to help you. Let's go. And now, let's go this. Second. I'm looking for one. You know what a sanatorium is? Sanatorium. Okay. Okay, let me go. I'm looking for something here to help you with this. Okay, I have here. Seborrhea. Do you know what seborrhea is? Seborrhea. How many do we have? 9, I think. Let me go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, we have the 10 that we need. Okay. So let's take a look at this. I'm gonna open a file in Word, and we are gonna be working the sentences of this one. Okay. Moment. I'm gonna open the thing and I'm gonna. Okay, let me go ahead and share this with you. Okay, now I'm gonna put the letters like this so you can see them. Okay, let me go ahead and let me open the chat so I can see all the words that we have. Number 1 says adrenal gland. The adrenal gland is a gland that we have and that works for many things in our body. And then, for example, in my case, I have to take a pill every morning and every midday. It's like a synthetic hormone to replace this one because my body doesn't produce it. Okay, so the teacher's body does not produce adrenal adrenal or adrenal hormone from adrenal gland. Okay, that's a long story. Now, you have a gland, and the gland produces the adrenal hormone. Spanish is glándulas suprarrenales. And they release something that is called cortisol. And the cortisol in English, is the one who keeps you, that keeps you active. Well, I don't produce that. Let's continue. Bad breath. Bad breath. I'm gonna give you my sentence. When you can make yours. When I was in high school, I had certain classmates that had bad breath every single day. Bad breath. Bad breath, mal aliento. Okay, let's continue. Carcinogen. Carcinogen. We talk about carcinogen is what we call cancerígeno en inglés. En español, sorry. Now, I'm going to tell you. Teacher Vivian had a tumor in her head. But it was not carcinogen. Thanks God. ¿Ok? Vivian tenía un tumor en la cabeza, pero gracias a Dios no era cancerígeno. ¿Ok? You can have tumors que le llaman benignos porque no tienen cáncer. ¿Ok? Then we continue. Deciduous teeth. Did you know this one? I didn't know. Deciduous teeth. Teeth. This is what we call dientes de leche. My cousin, this is just an example, is losing her deciduous teeth now that she is 8. Let's continue. Endocrinology. Endocrinology. Okay. What is endocrinology? Look at this. Endocrino goes for the hormones, and logy goes for the study. It's the study of the hormones in our body, okay? My teacher needs to see a doctor in endocrinology every 6 months. Next one. Hypothyroidism. Hypothyroidism. My teacher, no, okay. I know many people who suffer hypothyroidism, and do not take any pill or take care of themselves. Okay? Then let's go with the next one, intramuscular. Last week, My daughter had to endure receiving 3 intramuscular shots. Sorry, anti-inflammatory. Then let's continue. Morbidity. You know what morbidity is? Morbidity. Morbidity significa a la morbilidad. Generalmente, we speak about la tasa de morbilidad por obesidad o la tasa de morbilidad por COVID. O sea, de personas que mueren de eso. La tasa de morbilidad por ataques cardíacos. La tasa de morbilidad por diabetes. Okay? So, morbidity rate in for cardiac arrest is very high in my family. So I had 5 brothers, and 3 of them have died because of cardiac arrest, an infarct. So in my family, it's very high. And my father, he died of an infarct too. My mother is alive, but she has Alzheimer's, but that's something else. But yes, there is a high morbidity rate in my family because of cardiac arrest. Let's continue. We have now pimples. You know what pimples are? Espinillas. Do you suffer with many pimples on your face? Sorry. And this is just a question, okay? It's not, I'm not asking you the question. And the last one, seborrhea. Who can tell me what seborrhea is? Seborrhea. Seborrhea means caspa. O tienes caspa. Eso se llama seborrhea. Spanish is seborrhea. Okay? In the train, in metro, I don't take train, this is just an example. I saw a woman with a lot of seborrhea on her shoulders. Just to give you an example, okay? So this is the only way you learn, by practicing, by making sentences, by doing things. This is the only way you are going to get the fluency. You are going to have the words fresh in your mind all the time, okay? Give me a second, let me go back to this. Let's go. Okay, so this was the class activity, and then that we had to work on for today. Then let's continue. Let's make this over here. It says, this is an excerpt from an article that is talking about vaping. Do you vape? Do you guys vape? The problem with vaping is that it's so new, and then people are saying that, no, it's not dangerous or things like that. But the truth is that vaping is just as dangerous as the cigarette. And with the passage of time, it's going to be even worse because you don't realize how much nicotine you are taking into your body with this, okay? Oh my God. Los buses se han sobrado hoy sonando como una... So let's take a look at this. I'm going to see if I can go ahead and copy it so I can second. Let me see. No, I cannot copy because it is a picture, but let me take the picture just like this and put it into the thing that we were working, and then we'll be ready. Okay. So let me go ahead and share this with you guys. Let's make this go together. So it says here, vaping. Problems vaping can include, ¿okay? Problemas que pueden ser generados o que el vaping, ok. Problemas que el vaping causa, ¿ok? Incluyen o pueden incluir asma, Spanish asthma. El vaping, el fumar cigarrillos electrónicos, it could be. However, this is a word, one of these words that we have taken from the thing. Porque la gente dice es que el vapeo está mal, ¿ok? Entonces, el vapeo, to use the word in Spanish, el vapeo puede hacer que tengas más probabilidades de tener asma. Ahora, ustedes no ven la palabra probabilidades por ahí, ¿no? Pero lo ponemos de esta forma para que las personas puedan entender. El vapeo puede hacer que usted tenga más probabilidades de tener asma u otras condiciones en los pulmones. Puede hacer que su asma existente o que su asma vieja o que el asma que ya tenía sea peor. ¿Okay? Después dice, lung scarring. Diacetyl, a chemical used in some flavors, can use bronchiolitis, obliterans of corn lung. Bronchiolitis obliterans causes permanent scarring in your lungs. Okay, scarring. Who can tell me qué significa scarring? ¿Quién me puede decir qué significa scarring? Lung scarring. It means la cicatrización de los pulmones. ¿Okay? Quedan marcados los pulmones. Entonces, cicatrización de los pulmones. El diacetil es un químico utilizado para darle sabor ¿a qué? Al vaping, a los vapes que toman. Pueden causar, dice la palabra ahí, bronchiolitis, una inflamación de los bronquios, y dice obliterant, y dice popcorn lung. This one I don't know it. Popcorn lung. ¿Qué será eso? Popcorn lung. A popcorn lung, en español se dice pulmón de palomitas de maíz. ¿Ok? Ahora, ¿qué pasa? Dice, se produce cuando las pequeñas vías que llevan aire a los pulmones sufren inflamaciones y cicatrices. ¿Ok? So, we are on the right thing. So, let's say, it says, cicatrices en los pulmones. El diacetil, que es un medicamento utilizado en algunos saborizantes, puede causar los pulmones, o bronquiolitis, sería la inflamación de los bronquios, obliterans, o sea, el pulmón de palomitas de maíz. Esta inflamación de los bronquios, obliterans de los oblicuos, causa cicatrices permanentes en sus pulmones. Seguimos. Organ damage, o sea, daño de órganos. In addition to your lungs, además de tus pulmones, la nicotina y otras sustancias en el líquido que tiene ese vaping puede herir su corazón y su cerebro. Sabemos que la nicotina puede lastimar, sí, puede lastimar el desarrollo del cerebro. Puede también subir su presión sanguínea y estrechar sus arterias o hacer más pequeñas sus arterias, más delgadas sus arterias. ¿Ok? E-cigarette or vaping product used associated lung injury. EVALI is a serious lung condition that vaping causes. Entonces, el EVALI es para estos cigarrillos de vaping, son productos asociados con los pulmones lastimados. Entonces dice que el EVALI es una condición seria de los pulmones causada por el vaping. Causa un daño amplio a sus pulmones y le da síntomas como la tos, la falta de aliento para respirar, el dolor en el pecho. ¿Okay? El EVALI puede ser fatal para una persona. Then we have addiction. La nicotina es altamente adictiva. Causa cambios en su cerebro, así que usted quiere más, de manera que usted quiere más y más nicotina. Puede que no sea capaz de parar de vaping, y si quiere, o sea, aún queriendo, ¿no? Okay, dice. Usted puede que no sea capaz de parar el vaping, si así lo quiere, o si comienza a causar problemas de salud. Aún los líquidos del vaping, que dicen que ellos tienen, que están libres de nicotina o que tienen poca cantidad de nicotina. Incluso esos pueden causar adicción. El cigarette smoking, el fumar cigarrillo, muchas personas comienzan vaping y terminan, o sea, haciendo vapeo, vapeando, y terminan fumando cigarrillos. Lo cual contiene grandes cantidades de químicos perjudiciales. Y el second hand exposure, la exposición de segunda mano, es que el vapeo no te hace fumar, pero las personas que están alrededor tuyo están expuestas a la nicotina y a otros químicos cuando usted vapea. ¿Okay? Estuvo bastante fácil de hacer. Again, les aconsejo que cuando entren y lo vean, traten de hacerlo por ustedes mismos y pueden chequear conmigo esta parte a ver si está bien o si les falta alguna cosa. ¿Okay? Un second. Ok. So, aquí seguimos entonces con esta segunda actividad y vamos a seguir aquí un momento. Vamos a seguir aquí. Con nuestra clase. Okay. Now, we are about to finish over here. We don't have like that much to do here. The question sería, what obstacles did you find when working the translation of this one? For example, I'm going to do my example. For example, over here. A moment. No, it doesn't let me. Okay, here. For example, over here. Since it was the first time I was doing it, I do think there are certain things that could sound better, could be better, and then the stance, it would be something more natural. I think that can happen in this case. Okay? What was your obstacle when you were doing this one, any other one? What were your obstacles at that moment? Now, let's talk about the homework that we have for next week. We have the forum. You have the question in the number 4. You have the translation that you need to work every week, and you have the test, sorry, that I advise you to take as soon as possible so we can go check in everything and we can make sure that we're doing it right. Okay? And that would be it for today. This is everything that we have for today. I do appreciate you watching the video on your own. It doesn't matter if you were not here. I'm very happy that you were able to check the video on your own. And I do regret that I couldn't open the camera, but something is going on here. And I try, but I don't understand what's going on. I open here, but anyhow, I cannot see myself. Okay? Thank you so much, then. And I do hope I can see you next week and in the last one. Thank you so much, guys. Isabel.
Dígame, teacher, aquí estoy.
Terminamos por el día de hoy.
Ok, teacher. Bueno, voy a dar la finalización de la clase. Ok, teacher, bueno, dándole a usted las gracias por estar presente en esta sesión. Eh, y bueno, espero que tenga una excelente noche y una excelente semana. Y teacher, se me había olvidado felicitarla por el Día de las Madres.
Ay,
Nunca
muchas
Nunca es tarde cuando la dicha es buena, así que feliz, que haya pasado un feliz día con toda su familia y
gracias.
que haya tenido un día excelente.
Muchísimas gracias. Espero que tú también, mamita, ¿viste?
Ok.
Bebé. Muchísimas gracias. Cuídate mucho y que tengas feliz noche. Bye.